Hey everybody, we are officially live for our final workshop of the semester. If you are watching the recording of this video, please feel free to fast forward by 10 minutes. We're going to get started at 6 o'clock Central Time, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Um, Super happy to have you here. I'm excited to get going and kick off, but thank you all for being here. I'm going to have Tommy send out an email right now to let everyone know that the mail merge, or rather the mail merge, that the workshop is officially live. So let me message this out to Tommy so he can mail merge the email out to you all. Let me make sure he's got it. All right. I believe Tommy has it sent. So, anyways, so excited to have you all here this semester. And so excited to have you all as mentors. We're going to cover some great things. If you could introduce yourself in the chat, that would be wonderful. Hey, Sarah. So, oh, Tommy didn't. Hey, Sarah, I'm glad that you're here. Thanks for being here. Um, yeah, no, I think Tommy is sending the link now. So, Sarah, or for everybody else who's here, introduce yourself in the chat. Any fun Thanksgiving plans? Are you traveling anywhere? You doing anything fun? You looking forward to anything? Are there any like nostalgic things that you look forward to from Thanksgiving every single year? Post in the comments. I'd be curious to know. I know for me, I I just like cooking good food and I like sharing it with people. There's just something about breaking bread that just makes me feel really connected to those that I'm with. And yeah, I don't know. I'm all about it. But anyways, what are any fun Thanksgiving traditions you do? Hey, Catherine, where are you tuning in from, Catherine? And do you have any fun Thanksgiving traditions that you like to do? Any traveling that you're doing? I will say this, I don't know, there's just I will say as I've gotten older, I've not been so keen on traveling. It's kind of expensive and just pretty tedious, but um I don't know. I do like getting together with family and having everybody under one roof and connecting. Your son and you go to a wrestling convention every Thanksgiving weekend. Fun. Like what kind of wrestling? Are we talking about like WWE wrestling or are we talking about like actual like wrestling, like collegiately and stuff like that? Love to put little decorations out. Very nice. What, Sarah, what does SLO stand for? Bob, getting together with family. Very nice. Yeah, no, I like getting together with family too. It is nice to have that reconnection point. Bob, where are you tuning in from? San Luis Obispo, of course. Duh. I mean, I knew that where it was, but I've never heard of the acronym SLO. I guess that makes a lot of sense. Muskego, Wisconsin. Very nice. Bob, is it starting to get cold? Is it starting to get snowy up in Wisconsin? Hey, Khadijah. Oh, wow. Catherine, they get so WWE, AEW, and TNA. Wow, that's pretty cool. That's fun. Catherine, I'd be curious to know where are the wrestling where's the wrestling convention held at? 40s and rain. Yeah, no, now is the time of year, Bob, that I really do appreciate living in Austin, Texas. Austin, Texas is like the perfect weather right now. I mean, it's not probably like San Luis Obispo where it's like perfect in 70s probably year round. But Austin goes through hot and comfortable weather, and right now we're in the comfortable weather season, and it's pretty sweet. I do enjoy it. Is anybody going to see any shows or concerts over the next winter or couple of months? Ooh, this year on Friday night, TNA is doing their pay-per-view show from this. Oh, that's cool. That's really exciting. Wow, that's cool. I recently watched that Mr. McMahon documentary on Netflix. It was very interesting. I will say this, it is pretty crazy how much influence the WWE has had on pop culture, like in America growing up. Like there's so many different actors like The Rock or John Cena or so many other actors that you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot they started in wrestling, and it is pretty cool and interesting to see how they developed that over time, and how it's impacted I don't know, pop culture over time. It's pretty interesting. I would say I don't know if Mr. McMahon, Vince McMahon, is necessarily the greatest person in the world. Seems like he's done some pretty messed up things and is probably not the greatest in the world, but yeah, he definitely had an impact on pop culture. I mean, can't argue with that. Um, oh wow, your dissertation and PhD is on wrestling. That's really cool. Good for you, Catherine. That's super cool. We're gonna get started in 2 minutes. So if you're tuning in, you're wondering like, when are we gonna get started on this? 2 minutes. Oh wow, my video is getting super blurry. Let me turn it off and turn it on. Much better. Um, but yeah, anybody going to see any fun shows or concerts? I'm a big fan. There's this band in Austin, Texas called Y'all Out Boy. They're a Fall Out Boy, Blink 182, pop punk music from the late 90s, early 2000s cover band, and they are my favorite. I love seeing them. So I'm actually, funny enough, going with my family to going to see them. So I'm a huge fan of that. So anybody going to see any fun concerts or shows over the next couple of months in the wintertime? Post in the comments, I'd be curious to know. All right, we're almost there. Probably 30 seconds away. Leroy. Thanks for being here, Leroy. All righty, we're almost there. All righty, it's officially 6 o'clock here in Austin, Texas. Um, Oh, that's fun. That's cool. So it is officially 6 here in Austin, Texas, 7 o'clock on the East Coast, 4 o'clock on the West Coast, 5 o'clock in Mountain Time. I'm excited to kick off our fourth and final workshop of the semester. Um, Before we get started, I just wanted to thank you all as mentors. I mentioned this in our very first workshop. Being a mentor has a huge impact on students. Students who have mentors are nearly 3 times more likely to thrive in their career than students who do not have mentors. So being a mentor, even if it's just for a semester, even if it's just for a few months, even if it's just for a few conversations, just being there to show that you're there for another person as they're working through their collegiate career and figuring out their life is incredibly empowering and incredibly impactful. And I just wanted to just share that I'm really grateful for you all for being a mentor and for helping out students and just being there to, ask them questions, help them clarify what they want to do, and be the best person they can be for themselves in their careers. And so it's really amazing that you'd be willing to give your time for this, and I'm just really grateful to have had you all as a mentor this past semester. Let's dive in. So there's a few things that we're going to cover here in this final workshop. We're going to cover how to continue your relationship with your mentee over time. Sorry, I've got my notes on my other screen. How to continue your relationship with your mentee over time, even after the formal program is over. How to help your mentee find fulfillment through what they're going through right now in their lives, and questions that you can help that you can ask to help stimulate this conversation. And then the final step of the program for the semester. I believe Tommy mentioned this in his email out to all the mentors. If you could, please share your feedback for the program in your dashboard. And your dashboard, there's a little post-program assessment button. If you could please complete that, that would mean a lot to us. It helps us improve the program. If you've got positive things to share about your mentee or testimonials about the program, that's a great place to share it too. We love to hear it. We love to learn your feedback. We love to know what we can do to improve and make the program even better. And if things are going well, we'd also love to hear that too. That's always great and is always helpful. And so the way you do that is just go to your dashboard. I think Tommy might have hyperlinked it in his email to you all. And just take the survey. It'll take you about maybe 5 minutes, but that assessment does really help us out. And is really meaningful. So anyways, let's dive in. There's something that I talk about every single time. I harp on it, and that is the 3 keys to being a successful mentor. That is your strategy, your story, and your state. And I said them in reverse order of importance. So state is the physical state, like how are you doing? What are you doing to build yourself up, to put yourself in a physical state conducive for being a great mentor? I get it. There are times, especially when, the sun goes down a little bit earlier, it can be a little depressing. You can get into the no light scaries, some people call it. But what can you do to physically build yourself up to feel, more energetic when you're around your mentee? One thing that I love to do is to stand up, to shake it out, to do some jumping jacks, to do a power pose. I like to, sometimes I'll do this where I'll fake laugh for 30 seconds. And when you do that for 30 seconds, you'll actually, after truly 30 seconds, so you set a timer, you will start to really laugh, and it just sends endorphins to your brain. It's a great way to trick yourself. But the point is there are ways to trick your brain to feeling better in a given moment. Now, it's temporary. It's not something that's going to make you feel better for the next 2 days. But for the next hour, when you're with your mentee, can absolutely have a positive impact. And by the way, this is something that can be applied to any scenario. So if you're about to go into an important interview, if you're about to go into an important meeting with your boss, that's a really subtle trick that you can do to come in giving off the right energy and vibes that you want to give off. So then they're feeling really positively about you, because we know the majority of our communication is via our body language, much less from the actual words we say, but the physical body language we're emoting in the way that we're communicating physically. So if we want to give off positive body language physically, we got to get ourselves in a state conducive for that. Second key, story. What's the story we tell ourselves? It can be easy to get into maybe negative stories, maybe insecurity, maybe scarcity mindset if we've had something bad happen to us before in the past. But that should not stop us from being the best mentor we can be for our team or for our people and for our mentees. And so one thing that I love to do is I love to just, reframe our story for why we're going to be helpful, why we're going to be successful, why we're going to be really impactful as a mentor. And I know you've all done this already through the semester, so you don't need to post in the comments section, but I always just love to reiterate why I'm going to be able to be helpful for a person beyond just, the semester, but even past that. And if you'd like to share in the comment section, I guess I would love to learn, why are you going to be a great mentor for your mentee, even beyond the semester itself? Post in the comments. I'd love to learn more. And then the last key is the strategy. So now we're in a point of the semester where ideally you've met with your mentee a couple of times, ideally a handful of times, and you're starting to look at some tangible next steps. You might not have felt comfortable making any introductions at the beginning of the semester, but by now, if you feel comfortable and you feel like you may know someone, intros can be really powerful, because as they say, sometimes it's not about what you know, but who you know. This can be an opportunity for you to connect your mentee with people that might be able to significantly amplify their career path and their career journey. So if there are people that are in your network and you're willing to make connections, can be really big impact. And personally, from someone who runs a mentor program, who loves connecting people, there truly is power, because you don't have all the time in the world to meet with every single person in your network all the time regularly to keep them updated. But if you make an intro and it goes well, everyone's going to be thinking positively about you because you were the person that catalyzed that relationship. And so if there are opportunities to make introductions, that can be a great thing. Also doing mock interviews can be great. Practicing, looking at their resume, looking at their cover letter. There's so many things that you can do to really start looking at some different strategies to help your student with getting their next job or internship and really evaluating that over time. In terms of continuing your relationship with your mentee, even after the formal program is over, one thing I love to do is to schedule your next call for sometime over the winter or even into January. Nothing sets a tone like taking action. By scheduling this meeting, you're conveying that you want this relationship to last, that this is something that you want to take beyond just this semester, but something even beyond that, and that you're there as a resource to help this student as they work through whatever they're working through. Another thing you can do, ask your mentee how you can help them next semester. Ask them for things that you could do to support them as they work into the maybe final semester of their collegiate career or into their next semester, whatever it may be. But ask them how you can help them next semester. And then third is ask your mentee if he or she is interested in connecting with anyone and if you might be able to facilitate introductions. We talked about introductions before. Introductions are really powerful, and I highly recommend doing them. They can be really, really beneficial, especially as a student is working towards, the outcomes that they're trying to achieve. So before we jump into the next phase, which is helping your mentee find fulfillment, I'd love to just check out the comment section, see if we have any comments or questions. Oh, nice, Lincoln Park. I love that. Good for you, Catherine. I'm jealous. So actually, my that favorite cover band I was sharing about Yalla Boy, they do play uh in the end, which is awesome. It's such a good time and love it. Ooh, Kevin, going to a Broadway show in December. Your wife has the details. Do you know what show you're going to, Kevin? I'd be curious to know. What are you going to go see? Lee, are you having your third session with your on Friday with your mentee? That's great. Brittany, welcome. Hey, sometimes texting can be great. Obviously if you're going through health stuff, that can be tough to, get meetings on the calendar. Sometimes just, being a mentor doesn't necessarily formally mean that we have to have a video call. It could mean texting. I mean, it's just another layer of support that they need. And especially Brittany, with what you're describing, it sounds like your mentee is in a time where they need you for, a variety of things. Even if it's just support from a text perspective. Sarah, good for you for stretching. That's great. I love it. All right, so let's go into the final state, or let's go to the next step of this workshop. So, how to help your mentee find fulfillment. So, there are 5 questions that I love to ask a mentee to help them find fulfillment. Because fulfillment is interesting. I mean, we've talked about accountability, we've talked about balance before. When it comes to fulfillment, that's a very different subject. And by the way, this could be a great conversation for you. These could be great questions to not only ask your mentee, but ask your significant other, your kids, your friends. I mean, these questions are pretty powerful questions that I love to ask to help someone with finding fulfillment. So, the first question I like to ask when it comes to helping someone find fulfillment is, what rewards await you for moving through this challenge? Whatever challenge you might be facing, what rewards await you for moving through this challenge? I love asking that question because what it does is it helps your mentee or the person you're speaking with identify what could be possible for them in working through this challenge that they're going through and what could be beneficial for them. It is when it comes to fulfillment, it helps us to have an end goal in mind that we're trying to achieve and not just run through the motions or do this for somebody else, but really do it for us because there's an end outcome we're trying to achieve. The second question I like to ask is, what will be the cost of failing to work through this challenge? I've talked about, balancing rewards with costs in the past, but really nothing motivates more than avoiding pain. So how can we be clear, crystal clear about what are the costs of failing to work through this challenge? And the reason why asking the question and not telling them is because if they're communicating it, the mentee is communicating it themselves, they're much more likely to feel that cost. Whereas if you're telling them like, this is the cost and that's the cost and this is the cost and that's the cost, your mentee is much less likely to, I don't know, feel that as directly because they didn't come up with it themselves. The third question I like to ask is, what might be the impact of your actions? I love to ask this question because by asking the question of what might be the impact of your actions, you're able to understand and help them understand what they could really accomplish from actually taking action right now. It's so easy to procrastinate. It's so easy to fall behind on things. I think I've talked about this before, but Parkinson's law says that if any resource is in a vacuum, you will fill it up. So when it comes to time, it's easy to procrastinate. When it comes to money, it's easy to spend whatever dollars you've gotten on, on hand. But when it comes to, actually taking the time to do something a little bit different from the norm, if you can ask them what might be the impact of your actions, even if it's something that's difficult right now to do, but help them conceptualize that, they can then start to justify why taking that action is important and critical. The fourth question I like to ask is, what will be the impact of not taking any action? If you're not taking action, what will be the impact of it? That's a great question to ask because it lets them really strike home like, oh my gosh, I'm going to be doing the same old thing over and over again. And you got to ask yourself, is that where you want to be? And if the answer is no, and if that's truly powerful enough to them and moving the needle enough to them, they will take action to make sure that they get out of their current circumstances. And then the fifth question I like to ask is, what are you willing to commit to so that you can make a change? I love to ask that question because as opposed to telling them the things that they should commit to, asking what are you willing to commit to so that you can make a change, you're getting them to set something in stone that they can then follow through on. And if they do, they will start to see the benefits of the rewards of moving through this challenge and the impact of their actions and be able to see positivity from actually taking steps towards achieving their goals. So those are 5 questions I love to ask to help a mentee find fulfillment. Any questions on any of that? So the final step of the program this semester, completing your post-program assessment, it's on your dashboard. It's available to you. If you could please complete that by December 15th, that would be fantastic. That is the due date for that survey. If you can do it now, that's great too. But it's a great way for us to gather feedback, learn what we can do to be better, and gather testimonials if things are going really well. So let me check the comment section, see if there are any questions or comments. I love that. I love that, Sarah. That's so great. Alrighty, any other questions, any other things that y'all would like to share? Well, I love to end this workshop by just saying thank you. Thank you all for being a mentor this semester. Truly, I'm so grateful to have had you all as mentors this semester. This program can't exist without you. Like without you as a mentor, this program cannot exist. The students cannot be impacted in the way that they're being impacted. And I'm just really grateful for you all taking the time to be a mentor. I would love to have you all as a mentor next semester. We'll send a follow-up. Your organization will send a follow-up email as we plan and prepare for next semester. But if you're watching this and you're like, man, I just want to make sure I get on the list as a mentor next semester, just email Tommy and we'll be able to roll over your assessment responses from this semester to next semester to make sure that you're on the list. But I just wanted to let you know how grateful I am to have had you as a mentor this semester and just how powerful it is to just have mentors who can really make a positive impact. And I hope to get the opportunity to work with you in the future. Um, Kevin, you asked the question, what was the first question? The first question that I like to ask in terms of helping a mentee find fulfillment, what rewards await you for moving through this challenge? That's the question I like to ask. That's the first question I like to ask. Brittany, I love that we get to continue our relationships and it isn't an end all be all type of situation. Absolutely. Can we get a quick email of those questions? I love having these. Yeah, of course. Brittany, I'll send out I'll have Tommy send out an email tomorrow morning with these questions. Brandon, that's so sweet. I love that. I'm so grateful. Like I said, I'm so grateful to have had you all as mentors this semester. I love to stay in touch. And if you are interested, we do have other programs beyond just our higher ed mentor program. We've got mastermind groups. So if you're a leader of teams or if you're someone who would like to lead teams, reach out to Tommy, let him know that you'd be interested in learning more about our mastermind groups. They're a really cool way to feel less alone and connect with other peers that can relate to your challenges because we know as we work up in our organizational goals and our organizational hierarchy, it can be a lonely place. And having people that can relate to what we're going through can be really helpful and powerful. So if you are interested in that, just send Tommy a message. Tommy will get you connected with me and we can go from there. But once again, I'd love to just say thank you, thank you for being a mentor this semester. Just looking at the questions or comments here, I would like to say my mentee is very motivated and results oriented. He just needs guidance and how to. I love that. I love that, Jim. That's so great that you're there to help them with that American job search process. That's really great. Khadijah, I really appreciate that. That is so sweet. Man, this is probably the part that warms my heart the most is that I get to work with you all to make a positive impact. And like I said, I can't say this enough. The program can't exist without you as mentors, and I'm just so grateful that I get to work with you all to do these sorts of things. So with that said, I appreciate your time. I look forward to hopefully working with you into the future. And I love to stay in touch. By the way, if we're not connected on LinkedIn, please send me a connection request on LinkedIn. I'd love to be connected and stay involved. Even if you're not available to be a mentor in the future, I want to be connected on LinkedIn. I think that's a great place to connect and stay up to date and stay connected. And anyways, I really appreciate you all. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. And I hope.